Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And we have with us now, John, Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, it's so great to have you here. Big hearing today in the committee there, the House Ways and Means Committee, which you're a part of. And it talked about foreign influence in U.S. nonprofits. And this is a biggie, especially when you see all the protesters that are taking place around America. Tell us what you guys discovered.
Yeah, really interesting, and something that we've tasked both the Biden IRS and now the Trump IRS to investigate, potentially revoking dozens of nonprofits' tax-exempt status, because we think that there's a break in the chain and a manipulation of our 501c3 status, and this money, often foreign money, is being brought in and used for all kinds of things. Foreign actors funnel millions of dollars through these networks of these U.S. nonprofits. These tax exempts, they create and support disruption, illegal activity. Today, I highlighted a group called Westpac Foundation, which is an agitator up typically operating out of Westchester County. The Alliance for Global Justice, the Students for Justice in Palestine. A lot of these groups that are just stirring the pot and actually dangerously attacking Jewish students and all kinds of other nefarious activities that we're hearing about that are getting people riled up. And a lot of it going through social media, but also just using these not-for-profits to organize and disrupt and agitate. And these are not legal ways of using and benefiting through the 501c3 program that is set up by the IRS.
So the obvious question, Congresswoman Tenney, is what's going to happen? I mean, can't you crack down on these nonprofits, revoke their status? I mean, there's so many things I can think about. It's obviously not what taxpayer money should be used for.
Well, that's the mission. We have to get at the data and the information. And one of the first things we need to do is all of these nonprofits have to disclose on what they call a 990 form at the end of the year, how much money they spent, what they spent it on, who's in their organization, and making more of that transparent, because they don't have to disclose in many cases where the money is coming from. And that's where we have this loophole, which we're trying to close, and we're trying to make sure we can investigate, which is what we're doing on the committee level now. And then we're going to be putting in legislation to go at this to make sure that the IRS can, in fact, and will, through a rule, revoke the IRS privileges and the ability to have a not-for-profit status for these groups who are violating this law. And look, there are lots of nonprofits that do great work.
And why don't we take a page in the New York Post and the California Post, the new California Post,
yes,
and place all their names on it. And let me tell you what my intelligence folks are telling me. What they do is it goes from one charity to the other charity, to the other charity, and to the other charity. That way it gets lost in the action. And unless you have somebody with 150 IQ looking over this at the IRS, they never catch it.
No, exactly. And that's what it is. They have these complex systems of multiple tax-exempt organizations, and it clouds the transparency. I'll give you an example. There's a Hans-Jörg Wyss, a Swiss billionaire, used his 501c3 foundation, closely tied to a 501c4, which is an action fund, to influence American elections. He donated $208 million to help Democrats win the White House against
$208 million.
He's a billionaire. It's pennies.
Breaking news.
Yeah, that's
Breaking news. WABC.
All right, say it again. 208 million.
Million. This is just one, but there's numerous. And then, Arabella Advisors is was a for-profit philanthropy and not-profit management consulting company that has been described by the New York Times. Where's the New York Times is a leading vehicle for dark money on the left.
Now, the other intelligence I'm getting, I don't want to call you Claudia, Congresswoman Tenney. The other intelligence I get is these billionaires, that some of the money is being funneled by governments through them So they get to have their name on the front page, but it's really government money coming from other places.
Like the Neville Singman, right? That guy.
Yes.
Remember that
Chinese.
one? Yep.
Could be Chinese.
Yeah,
could
Neville
be.
Singman is another
Chinese money. See, I
example
use the
that we
word
have.
could be.
Very nice.
Yeah, Neville Sigmund is another one. He's the one that has been all kinds of money has been coming through on his side. And we really just need to close the loophole. We need to make sure that we got to put the evidence in front of the IRS. They need to change the rule. And if they don't change the rule, we're going to change it by statute. And that's what we're trying to gather all the information and the proof, craft the legislation, get it done. It's not like the New York State legislature where only Democrat bills are crafted by Democrats only and put on the floor only by Democrats. We actually do a bipartisan work here in Congress. And by the way, a lot of Democrats agreed with us today. And even the Democrat witness agreed that these are not, these issues are bipartisan. So we made
By the way, the Democrats don't approve, and they care more about the criminals than they care about the American people. I want you to deliver on those names to us. We'll take a full page ad in the New York Post and the California Post and post their names.
That'd be great. We'd be happy to do that for you.
Thank you.
Greg
Let's expose them.
Congressman, I have one question. So I run a 501c3 for a disease that my son has, and every year we file our 990s. We're required to list anyone that gave more than $5,000 in that tax year. We have to list them on our 990s. Wouldn't that apply here?
Well, yes, if you were getting it directly from a billionaire, but that's not going to be coming from a billionaire. You're going to be getting it from some umbrella organization that was several levels down from the original source, which is where the money came through.
Okay.
So that is not required. It only has to be the single where the money
came
donated.
from, but not where the background money came from.
That's why they call it money laundering, Claudia.
Exactly.
That is money laundering.
That's another word for it.
That's what it's called.
Fernando.
A few weeks ago on Katz and Cosby here in this studio, I mentioned the fact that we need to go after those 501c3 not-for-profits because
big money.
They funnel their money through them and they hire all these protests and pay them, right? So we need to really investigate who these not-for-profits are. As John said, plaster them all over the paper, expose them, and let people know who is causing and creating chaos throughout the country.
Yeah, and we're finding that. We're getting into this. This is what happened today. There's all kinds of other, groups. There's a terrorist group known as Samadoun. It's a group designated by Treasury. They've designated them as a terrorist group. They use 501c3s, with these elaborate networks to get the money funneled through. This is foreign interference in our elections. It's happening, and it's illegal, and we've got to crack down on it. We've got to close the loopholes, and that's what we're working on today. I feel really confident if we can get these bills passed, the President Trump will sign them into law.
Great.
Wow. Well, keep us posted. This is big stuff. We love having you on, Congresswoman Tenney. Get to the bottom of it and go after them.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.